What is going on, people? Welcome back. This is a new character I'm creating. This is a third baseman, and I'm going to try to make him a left-handed third baseman, which you don't really see in the major leagues, but they've added to the game this year, so we figured we would try out a left-handed infielder. Not sure exactly why they would add the option to have a left-handed infielder, because there's really none besides first baseman. Just don't understand, but whatever. So here we are going through adding our flex points in, and as you can see, the last couple of videos I kind of went through this a little too fast. So now you can actually get to see. So based on the position you pick, you start off with those position minimums. And you know, obviously based on whatever position you play, those are going to change a little bit, and then you get 5 extra points that you get to put into your guy to figure out how you want it. So you can throw it all into contact and speed, you can throw it into mostly defensive type stuff, or you can go for that power guy. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility, and I kind of like this a little bit better than the sliders they had the last few years, because it didn't really feel like it did anything. Quite honestly, at least this way, you know that if you put all of your points into power, when you go to upgrade your power stat, it's not going to cost you as many training points to do so. Likewise, if you don't put anything into speed, it's going to cost you quite a bit to get your guy to be halfway decent as far as running the bases. So I really do like that. It really makes you think about how you want to build your guy, and making sure that you put the points in the right spot based on what kind of player you're going to want to have. And I think that's awesome. I know I've talked about this in the past, but I think this is a huge upgrade for Road to the Show. No longer are you going to just be able to just pick whatever you want, and knowing that you're going to get to 99 overall everything within the next 5 or 6 years. You really have to decide what kind of player you want and build your guy accordingly. So I really do like that. It makes the game a little bit more challenging. It makes it more fun for me, I think, because I really have to decide how I want to build my guy. Training points are at a premium this year for sure, meaning that you really have to figure out how you get to build that guy at the beginning. Where you're going to put those training points at first, because like I said, once you get to, like, let's say you start off with 35 contact, by the time you get to about 50 to 60 contact, it costs a lot of training points to go to the next level. So like from 60 to 70, it'll cost you quite a bit more training points. So instead of doing that, you get your guy to about 60 or so, and then start putting the training points into other attributes that don't cost as much, but it's not really affecting your guy. Like, for example, if your guy had all just 60 in everything, is that really going to be as good as if a guy is like 40s in power but 70s in contact? So there's a lot more strategy involved this year on deciding, how you're going to train your guy, how you're going to start your guy off, and I think that's fantastic. But here we are, third baseman, left-handy, up at the bat. This is the Amateur Showcase game number 1. I decided to edit it down just a little bit. It's just showing you my at-bats or any fielding, taking out some of the tedious parts of showing the little menus and what's happening in the game, because really the game's not that important whether you win or lose. It's more just based off of how you perform in the game. And this guy right now is going to be a prime example of, it doesn't really matter too much as far as what your numbers end up being in these games. It's all based on what you do in the situation, and how you handle each situation that's thrown at you. So you hit a deep fly ball like this, oh man, it's an out. You're still going to get positive results for that. I had a 4-pitch at bat, so as long as you get above, I think, 3 pitches, you get a positive. And then if you make solid contact, you're going to get another positive, because a lot of times with baseball, I mean, as long as you're hitting the ball well, like you're putting it in play, you're hitting it with solid contact, hard contact, those are looked at as positives in the game of baseball, because there's going to be times where you just crush a ball, but it just doesn't go to the right spot to get you a base hit or a double or whatever. Like that first hit I did, I hit that very, very hard, but unfortunately went right down the middle of the field, so the center fielder had an easy play on it. Now, if that was just a bit to the left or right, it might have been in the gap that gave me a double or a triple. So the scouts and whatnot in this game look at that and say you had a solid contact, so that's you're gonna get kudos for that. Obviously, if you get a base hit or a double or a triple, you're going to get more points for that, because then you'll say, like, extra base hit and put yourself in scoring position, things like that. So you obviously want to aim for getting hits and getting doubles and triples and home runs and whatnot, but it's not the end of the world. You can see there, I had just all fly balls the whole game. And then you can see what the scouts say, that I'm maintaining my draft stock, so I didn't lose anything. I'm still middle round. I think that's everybody starts default. You're a middle round prospect, and then you can use the showcase to kind of improve your draft stock or make your draft stock worse. So if you're striking out a lot, or you're not hitting the ball very well or whatever, or screwing up in the outfield or infield, that'll affect your draft stock, where you can get dropped down to the later rounds. But as long as you just do what you're supposed to do, even if you don't get a ton of hits, take pitches, especially, and I have noticed this, and a few people in my stream have noticed this as well, it's way harder to hit in these showcase games. The pitchers are a lot better in the showcase games than they are in AA, AAA. Take your pitches in the showcase. It sounds crazy because they're, you're supposed to be minor league here, but the pitchers pitch a lot more like they're in the pros. They're painting the corners, they're pitching outside, they're pitching high, then they'll go low, so they change the eye level of the batter. They'll throw it out of the strike zone if you're going to swing at it. So take pitches. Be careful when you're doing it. Make sure you can read the pitch. You can see there, that was like perfect changeup. Starts in the zone and breaks out of the zone. I mean, that's a pro pitch. You don't really see that much in the minor leagues. So you got to be able to lay off those kind of pitches, work the pitch count. All that stuff is going to work in your favor in these showcase games. When you get really aggressive, like you're playing in AA, you're not going to do very well in this game. The showcase games, I should say, because once you get to AA, it's back to the scrub pitchers that throw it down the middle a lot and all that stuff. So once you get into the AA, you can hit and be aggressive and do all the normal stuff and do fine. The showcase games, though, it's not built like that. For whatever reason, these pitchers are way better than anybody in AA, AAA. So you definitely have to take your time and read it like they're real MLB pitchers, because that's kind of how they throw. But you can see there, I didn't really have good contact. I popped it up, but I got a positive because I had a 7 pitch at bat. So that's pretty positive. Working the count a little bit, making the pitcher throw pitches, all those are looked at as positive things. And that just makes your guy look better, even if you don't get a hit, like I haven't yet. We're a game and a half in, and I still haven't gotten a hit in these showcase games. But I'm taking pitches. There's a low changeup. You just have to take as many pitches as you can, wait for the right ones to hit, and hopefully you hit one in the gap. You also have to remember, too, your guys aren't very good yet. I mean, you only get 500 training points, or maybe not even that many, when you first start the game. So your guy really doesn't have the skills yet to be really, really good. So you're certainly not going to just knock the cover out the ball. Obviously, you can get lucky or whatever and, get a hold of a few, but you got to stay positive in the showcase. And just remember, too, if you don't like what happens, or you play really bad, you can always just go to college for a year and try it again. I think you really want to work this game. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it feels like you really need to work in the game to be drafted in the higher rounds, or the lower rounds, like rounds 1 or 2. If you get drafted in the first 2 rounds, I think a lot more better things are going to happen to your guy. I think training points are more valuable when you're get drafted in the first couple rounds, because your potential is a lot higher. Meaning, I think it costs less training points to make your guy better when your potential's higher. So if you're a B or an A potential instead of a D or C, I think you can build your guy a lot better. So it's really important to get drafted in those first 2 rounds. Whatever you got to do it, because I think it's a big deal. So, but that's gonna be the end of game number 2. I go hitless again, but you can see my draft stock stays exactly the same. So, like I said, it's not all about hits, but we'll be back soon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.